Hello there, this is Libby, otherwise known as Silverlief, and today we're going to be working on the cards we made yesterday. So yesterday we made a masterboard, which I have one that's not cut up to show. Basically a bunch of different papers all glued to a base that you then cut up and create smaller bits of ephemera from. In particular, I have some here that are going to end up as journaling cards or tags. I spent some time after the video yesterday and I decorated up 2 of them. So this is the one that we did with paper. And it had an Egyptian head in the background. So I added some Egyptian themed bits and pieces in there. And then this is the one that I love. So the other masterboard we did was stamped. And this is for my mum's journal. So this is what I did for that one. And I really love it. All this nighttime theme, which is what today's theme's going to be. We're going to go for like a Nightfall type of thing. So those were the examples. I like to get warmed up beforehand. So those were what I did using the 2 different styles. I'm not going to do the paper-backed ones on camera today because as I say, I want to go with the nighttime theme because today for ABC April is N. And plus this adds to my mum's journal, which I'm constantly trying to add to in the background. It's going to be a bit of a quieter one today. My throat is a little sore, so I'm going to try not to talk so much. It's going to be more of just a process. But we have a couple of cards that'll be good for little note cards. And if you can see with this, you're only seeing little snippets of the stamping around the outside. So while these are very specific in terms of which ways up, I mean, I don't think I'm going to change this one. I think I am going to keep this one landscape. Or maybe this one. One of these will stay landscape. The other I'll turn into a tag, even. So I'll have to cover up, at the very least, the ladies. Yep. So we have these, and then I also cut out the little pieces that I did as my ink tests. So I'm going to just quickly finish these off as little bits of ephemera. These won't be for writing on, they'll be for adding on to other projects. Whereas most of these, I mean, I might turn one of them into a pocket. But for the most part, my plan for these are journaling spots and tags. So what I have on hand right now is I have my corner rounder. And I also have one for doing my tags. I'll use this guy. I pulled out some washi tape from the box that I have of Mum's stuff. Starries and then a nice glittery one. I thought that could really add to the nighttime theme. I like the glitter on that. And it's not really coming off on me, so it shouldn't make a mess of my mum's house. Ink to go around the edges when I'm done. A glue stick for anything that doesn't want to stick down, because I am mostly going to be using stickers. I have my Tim Holtz sticker set, the clippings, which I love to use for this sort of thing. I like to find words that go with whatever it is. And then, so that one's a definite, everyone's going to have some of that. I have some stamps, like postage stamps that I might use off to one side. My box of stamps. I have the little snippety pieces which we were using the other day on the labels, and I'm only going to use these little ones. I have bigger ones, but I'm going to stick to the little ones. Same with my cutouts here from a bigger stamp. And then for books, I'm going for a nice, I say nighttime theme, so we're going blues. So this Celestial book has a lot of nice blues and purples, so we'll make use out of that. And then I just have a random assortment of other books. Esoterica, Enchanted Kingdom, Woodlands, and a Gothic one. I'm not sure which I'll pull from. I tend to just go random. I try and use the same style on each individual, but between them it could go anywhere. Is that everything? I think so. I also do have a little separate set of stickers that I pulled out for specifically my mum's journal, which is what we're working on. So I may pull from here too. But realistically, I think that should be it. There were a couple of spots on these ones where I thought maybe I would stamp like this guy, but we're not doing this today, so I'll leave that for another time. So first, I'm just going to grab one and then decide what we're doing with it. I think I need to decide between these two which one I want to keep, the Lady Virgo. And I think I'm going to keep this one because it's central. That could be my main focal point. So that's staying as a landscape. We're going to turn this one portrait, which means covering up this lady. Yeah, because I do want a tag. In fact, we'll start with that whilst it's fresh on my mind. So we'll put all these other ones off to one side. As I say, this was the process card that I made, so I'm going to go for something similar. All these colours really work well, like the stars and stuff. So, and I'm going to try, as I say, to talk a little less today to save my throat. Go this way. Oh, this is a bit pipsqueaky. We're going to just cut our own. I'm not good at doing this, but we'll make it work. Oh, and yesterday I was worried because I hadn't backed these. So I went in. You can't really tell the difference. This is more of like a linen cardstock, and it's not as white. It's a little off-white. I mostly wanted to back it, though. I wouldn't have minded the white. It was just one piece of a thinner scrapbook paper, so now it's a little bit thicker. That's the only other change that I did. Okay, so tag. Oh, I'm going to need my hole punch too, which I have a We Are Memories Keeper one. I forget what they're called. I'm not going to use eyelets for any of these that I do for punches. But I do have a little thing of hole reinforcers, so we'll probably pull some of those. Alright. So I'm going to look for a focal point, and I need something big to cover up at least part of the lady. I don't mind if it's sticking out, but especially the face. It's going to bother me if it's side on. So. And again, this is for my mum. I like all these oceany ones. My mum does not like the ocean, so I'm going to avoid all of the ocean ones that are in here. And the celestial one has quite a few. About this pentagram, or this. Oh, you can't see. Maybe one of these circles. I like the colours in them. Well, I reached for this one first. And as I say, I'm mostly just going to cover up around her face. But I don't mind if the other bits are sticking out. It's just some nice interest in the background. That was the point. We're going to cover up a lot of the background, but then there's still bits coming through. So I have something lower down. This lighting likes to glare the stickers. Lower down, I want something up higher. I usually work in threes and then a word or statement. So I've got to find something that will go nicely with this bird theme. We already have a moon on here, so I'm not going to do another moon. Usually I'd put like a star or a moon or something, but we have that. I'm thinking maybe a bird in flight, if I can find one. Oh, we need to use this cat. I need to remember that. Let's see. And I have other books, but I like to try and stick to the same style. Well, I like this guy too, but it already has a moon in the background, so we're not going to mess with that. I think a lot of these have the background animals. Oh look, we have another one. I've never noticed there being two of a sticker in this book before. So I'm going to talk through this first one whilst we have the process, and then the rest I think I'm going to try and be a bit quieter for. We'll see how well that goes, because just a little bit of a feather. And then usually I do something in one of the lower corners, because my focal point's usually more central. But this space here is what's needing something. So as I say, I think I will look for a bird in flight, which there should be in here somewhere. I could go with another flight animal, like a moth or something, but let's see. I want the tones to match. Go with a bat. Is that going to be a bit big though? All I can do is try, and if I don't like it, I just don't stick it down. So. Okay. Well, I stuck it down, so I guess I like it. Okay. So then for me next, I'm going to find something that matches. So either like the bird and the moon, the bat, lucky star. It's not a star, is it? I mean, we have a star in the background, but a small bird flew before me. If I'd have done a bird, that could have worked, but I put a bat now. The stars are always shining. If I do one like this that's longer, I cut it up. Stars before him, and I'm going to cut this one. Oh. So I'm just going to cut this one in half. Sometimes I'll do in like smaller snippets, but this is only 4 words, so I'm going to put the stars here, and I'm going to have to go back through and re-glue this down, but for now, and then I'll put the before him. I almost want to add a couple of stars on. I don't know where this stamp ended up yesterday. If you can hear anything, that's just me grabbing a paint pen. Do I have a nice silver paint pen? Let's see. So I have a paint pen here. I'm just going to add a couple of little stars. I know we have the one here, but if I've got stars, I'm going to add a couple. So nothing too crazy. I might even just do it. You can see that. Just a little bit of a shiny. And I'll sprinkle those around. That was something that I wanted to do with today, was just add in a couple of touches, and these are not super obvious until you're looking at it from an angle, when it sort of catches the light, if you can see. Come on, focus. Focus. So I'm just going to add a couple of these all over. If I had my thinner paint pens, I'd make them look more like a pentagram, but I do not have them on hand. And that just adds a little bit of extra in the background. And I think what really makes these pop is when you go around. I'm not rounding any corners because I went with the angles. Is when you like ink them in. Now I have walnut stain here, and I used walnut stain on this guy, but I think I'm going to pull out my black soot. If I can remember where I put my box of ink, which is underneath this pile. 1 second. I want to keep it dark today. So we have you. I'm going to, usually I wouldn't, I'm just going to use this dauber because it wasn't meant for the walnut stain anyway. I just destroyed the walnut stain one the other day. I have a ton of the dauber ends, so I don't mind mixing them up because I'll just pull out a new one next time. And then what we're going to do is the back. As I say, I intend for these to be for journaling on. A bit extra in these corners. Oh, I should probably add the hole in a minute. So on the back of this one that I did, I added a little flower and a little butterfly. That's how I like to frame them out, so I'll go around the outside and then frame out the corners. I lean towards my much smaller stickers or stamps, or oh, that was a bit much, Libby. Okay, put you to one side. See if I have a snippety bit that will go with it. Love this butterfly. Although maybe that should go on the front. I'm going to keep that to one side. And I'm sticking with my blues, maybe some dark purples, blacks, silvers, that sort of thing. I want them very celestial, very nighttime. Okay, well I think having found that one... Oh, there's a nice mushroom there actually. Come here, please. Sorry, you can't see. I'm going to use that mushroom as well. Alright. So just need some small pieces for in here. And I genuinely will go with some of the smallest stickers for this part. Like this teeny tiny guy. Because it's not going to be the focus of this page at all. The focus is going to be whatever's written. I like that it blended in nicely. It's just to add a little something. I have some bigger stars here. I love using these stars. They're scattered throughout this book, and I have used most of them. Go with a little bit of purple. Okay. So then I just add in that. I don't usually add more than 2. There's been times where I might have added like a third little something. Usually if I find it afterwards, then I'm like, that really goes with this one. So we have our little bat friend. I don't know his name, but the stars before him. I like that. I ended up with 2 focal points on this one. But actually, I do think the bat is the focal, and this is just more of a background thing now. So the bat completely changed my plans, but I really like that. So we have this. Oh, we're not done, Libby. So then... Which hole do I want? I'm just going to eyeball the middle and go in a little bit. Pop a little hole. And then, do I have darker blue? I do have darker blue. These are all mixed up. This is another thing where I was like, oh, I don't mind. I'm going to mix up all of my items and it'll be fine. And now I'm like, I wish I hadn't mixed it up and kept them separate. But... you know, like that one. And I'm fine with these being different on both sides. I might just go with a round for this. Oh, there's a little flower. That's cute. Little flower. I'm going to use the round on the front. So just this. And then on the back, I'm going to use this arrow. If you're going to do finicky little bits, getting some pinch tweezers where it holds closed until you pinch it. Very helpful. I need to use these more often. I forget that I have them, but my hands are very sore today. So, just going to add a little bit of glue around the outside. And then what I should have done is inked that to make it stand out a little bit more. But honestly, I do think that looks fine. Let's get some of that excess glue off. Put a little bit too much glue, so it's not setting fast. And then on the back, I'm just going to do this downward arrow. I don't know why, I like it. Looks almost like a birdhouse when it's this way. You can see. This might end up being the only tag I do, in which case I really wanted to make a topper for it. So I pulled out some different embroidery floss. I have these three. I'm gonna double up on the black and then do like less of this silvery colour and add a little bit extra of the blue in, but mostly the black. And I'm going to what's the word? There's a word for it and my brain is not here. I have a piece here. It doesn't need to be long, it's just going to be a topper. I'm going to fold it in half. I'm going to cord it, that's the word, and then in half again. Okay. And this guy, I'm just going to do 2 lengths of. Actually, that's a lie. I'm going to do 3 lengths of it instead of 4. And I'm just going to do 1 length of the silvery. I want just a tiny bit of the silver coming through. To look more like stars is the plan. So that's 4, that's 3. And the reason I'm just doing 1 and not 2 of this is I need an even number when I'm twisting. So usually I'd use way more floss than this, but I'm not trying to make like a what's the word? Usually if I'm doing cording, it's like for drawstrings on a bag or something. But this isn't, so we can tie that off in a little bit of a knot at the top. Oh, hello. Okay. Then I'm going to just snip the bottom so that it's loose. Oh, what happened here? There is much less of my silver now. That's fine. We'll make it work. So if you've never done cording before, there you go. And this might actually now be too small, but that's fine. I'm going to take 2 black, and then on one side 2 blue and the other 1 blue and 1 silver, so 4 on each side. And what you do is you twist one, say to the right, so I'm going to the right, but then move it over to the left, over the top of the other one. So now this guy's on the right, twist to the right and fold it over. Oh, and if you do it properly as you go, well, one, it twists, but two, it'll start holding itself, so I don't have to worry so much about pulling this. I like to pull it tight. I think it ends up looking nicer, but it hurts my fingers too, so we're twisting to the right and then putting it over the left of the other. Does that make sense? And this will just make a nice small bit of cording in the correct colours that I'm going for. So I'm just going to keep doing this. I went through a period of time where I was making like 10 bracelet lengths of this in a night. I got really hooked on it, but when I got sick, it's holding its shape. My fingers now can really struggle with any of this sort of weaving or fibre art sort of stuff, so I don't do it as often, but I wanted to do a little piece for this, so I am. Usually I do thicker, but I'm just going to keep twisting. Yeah, this will be more than enough for a tag topper. Just need to leave enough space at the end that I can tie it off. So, twist and over. And as you can see, because of the way of the colour choices and how many of each I did, there's just a small speckling of that silvery colour, which I really like. Okay, so I'm going to quickly tie off the end of this. Quickly, she says. Nothing quick about that, Libby. Okay. And I'm actually going to leave this end a bit scraggy. I might even brush it out. Okay, if I take a brush and comb it out, it'll end up frayed. Okay, and hopefully this will fit, because I might have done the hole a bit smaller than I needed. Nope, it worked. Okay. And usually I would do it this way, where you fold it in half and put it through, but I'm not sure if it's going to fit. If it fits, I'll do it. It fits, okay. So you loop it through. I've never used my cording as a tag topper before, but as I said, I'd already pulled this out intending to do this, so there we go. It's a nice, pretty, homemade tag topper. Didn't take too long to make it, and it's in the colours that I want. So yeah, I'll probably snip this. You see there's a loop. And then fray it all out. But that's this guy done. I think that really made it. I love it. It ties in some of this, like the stickers have like the whiter border. But between the words and then the white that's been added, well, it's not white, but you know. I think that looks really cute, and I hope that my mum likes it. This line's going in a pocket somewhere. So that's 2 done. Well, 1 I did off camera. That's 2 done. And I have a bunch more. So at this point, I'm going to shush it a little bit, unless there's something that I need to say. And this will just turn into more of a process. Okay, so I gathered myself up a few things just to get me started. I have some stickers and stamps. Most are from the set I put aside for my mum. I have some postage stamps here in the right colour scheme, some little snippets. And then I went through my Celestial book and pulled out a few pages that had some stuff that interests me. So we'll pull from here, and they have some of the smaller pieces too. And then I have another book off to the side that's open with some ideas. So we'll start with this. We want her to be the main focus. I'm going to add her in a cat. Because what is a goddess without her cat? So we're going to put a cat down here. I want something up here. I need to trim that 1 second, or else that is going to annoy me. I thought I got all the white space yesterday. I definitely want a moon, but I don't think I want one of these big moons. Do I have a small one in the right colour scheme? Nope. Why would I have? I have this guy. It pulls in a little bit of the brown, like bronze, which I have also, if you can see in the background, as much as I'm trying to pull for the silver, a lot of what I have is also bronzy. So we're going to put this one up in this corner. I need to be careful because I'm going to round these corners. And I'm thinking some sort of plant over on this side. Which I have a little golden guy. These ones are a bit shinier than I'm looking for right now. See if I have a book off to the side here. Do I have any plants? And there's some of these are very weird stickers, so if you catch in sight of them off the side, yeah. I just thought I could make good use. I want something a little tall. Everything's sort of like lower. Well, that's just how this one was cut, because the lady's down low. So I would like something a little taller. Oh, look at these old churches. We're not adding spiders. This is my favourite one at the moment. Doesn't let me down. Add a mushroom. I don't know if a mushroom's gonna fit. I think a flower would be best. If you can please come off the page, that would be great. It says no, we're not coming off the page. I do want to try and draw in some purples too. So we're going to see about framing out this little moon here. Just like that. This is very bright. And it's hard to... It's not pulling her out, it's pulling this out. I'm just going to go over it a tiny bit with my walnut stain. Which means I need to grab a little brush. I'm not looking to like severely do it, I just want a little bit on the edge just to dull it down a bit. I don't mind the others, they're smaller, it's fine if they're a bit bright. I'm going to put the words up here, I think. Do I know what words I want yet? No. This is a bigger piece, this is one where I might let myself do a few extra pieces. Brain. What was I looking for? Words. They're over here. It says, a night is pierced with stars. Usually I cut this down, but I think that might look nice. All the way across. Again, this might end up needing glue. And I might add just a little bit of washi. Oh, I probably should have done the sticker second then. Can I get you off? Yep. Alright, I'm just going to set this down lower on my desk for a minute. I'm just going to add a little washi line. And I'm going to fold it over. Okay. Then I'm going to try and put this half on the washi, half off the washi. And to finish it off, and I really do think this step is what brings these to life. I'm going to go for the biggest rounding setting that I have. Is it going to like my washi tape? Yeah. Okay. Rounding corners always helps. And then just ink the edges. I think it really frames it out and makes it look finished and intentional. And it gets rid of the white cord that's always on the edge of the pages. But do this. And then we need 2 smaller stickers, which I'm probably going to pull some of these little guys off, because it's right there in front of my eyes. Okay. Go with this moon up in this corner. I always have an easier time with the backs because I just put 2 stickers down and usually that's more than enough. And a star. Some people are really good at embellishing these with paper pieces and whatnot. I don't really fussy cut, and I don't want something square on top, so as much as I can help it. I think the washi tape really helped, so did the sticker. She still isn't like standing out, but because I've framed her, she's still a focal point, so I like that one. With you next. And honestly, I'm thinking of using one of these bigger stickers. I have some of these as well, which are gilded stickers. They're actual metal, like thin metal. They're cool. Add a postage stamp. Big bright butterfly. Maybe. Actually, let's draw some of this coppery, not coppery. It's like light brown. If I put, is there not this side under the corner of the wing? Something a bit more like that. And then I can add some extra little pieces. I'm going to add this guy into the corner. Sorry, not a guy. It's Queen Elizabeth. Definitely not this guy. Okay. Need this guy down next. Usually I'd use my art for this, but I already have my glue stick open, so. Let's check you. And then I'm going to take that same silver pen and I'm just going to do some dots, like smaller dots as stars, just along the background, just to add some shine. And I'm literally sprinkling them around and they're just dots. Just for our starry sky. Oh, took one lid from one end and put it back onto the other. Do I want some more washi tape? If I do, I'm going to do something down on this side because it's all right leaning right now. And I think I might use the super glittery stuff. Oh, that's really sticky. Not that I'm complaining. I'd much prefer a very sticky to a not so sticky tape. Okay. I might put something over the top of this. So I'm definitely gonna put that there. Maybe a bit more like that. I want just something to overlay on here. And if I wasn't doing this butterfly, I think that little guy would work. But no, I want something up higher. Maybe a moon. I pulled out a very big moon. That's not going to work. I already checked you for little moons, didn't I? Yep. There's a lot of suns, and usually I'd use the suns. But for this, we're sticking to the night theme. So, I'll pull the rest of this book out. I don't want anything big, but I do want it to overlay. Here we go. Ooh. No, I'm going for this one. I was going to go for this, which I actually think is a globe, not the moon. I'm going with this one because it adds in those browns again. And I'm going to turn it this way, so that the brown's on the outer edge. We're just going to... This is going to need glue, and I think it's actually going to need glitter glue to stay on top of that. Okay, just a little bit of glue. Yep. Okay. And I want it overlapping both. Yep. Just like that. I like all the colours on this. How it's all been tied in just a little bit. Alright, words. It doesn't feel finished to me without having some sort of word on there. That's just how I like to do my ones. Let's have a look. Oh, I like this. Hear the music. I need to remember to look for that one later. Could even use it on this, but I don't think butterflies make music. I'm gonna do this one. To find she was so perfectly alone. Like, she likes the fact that she's alone. It's a choice that she's made. I think that's very fitting. And again, snipped it in two. I'm going to do one up high and one down here. I like the words. They sort of train your eye where to go. Okay. I really like this one. Snips. You are not the right one. Here. Again. I might go with the medium. If I don't like the medium, I'll go with... Yeah, we'll go with medium. I was going to say all large, but are you going to fit in? Uh-oh, I think the washi might be in the way of this one. Come on. There we go. There we go. That was a pain, but I got it in. It's not perfect. It's got a bit of a cut edge here, but you do what you can. There we go. That one worked much better. There we go. So then we'll ink it. Oh, I really like this one. This sparkle here is gorgeous. Even the lights aren't doing it justice, but you can see it dancing even with me barely moving it. That is gorgeous. Okay. Got those edges just a little extra. Oh, I love that. I hope Mum will too. And then what I could do on the back here actually is connect that again with more of that washi tape, and I might. We'll see in a second. Something on here is lifting up. I can feel it under my hands. Okay. So I might connect that, or I might let myself have a taller sticker on the back here. Oh, I love this. Need to use that somewhere. This one's getting a tall sticker, and hopefully it fits the whole way. Oh, it doesn't. Ah, that's going to annoy me. Okay, then I am going to add a little bit extra washi tape. And then I'm going to stick that over the top, and that'll be the only... I was going to say that'll be the only decoration. It won't be. I know myself. I'll put something on this side too, but that'll be the main decoration. This back is getting as much attention as the front. Okay. I'm trying hard to really overlay it to where you can't see the seams, which I think the glitter actually really helps with that. Oh, I love it. Okay. Where did you go? Again, this one's going to need some extra glue. At least where this glitter is. So I'm just going to add it straight on to the glitter. Okay. And it says, "The maiden asks the moon to help her." I like that. Okay. So I'm just going to mostly put it off to the left and just a little bit off the right. So I'm not centering it like I did the one on the front, because there's not as much room. It's a much bigger sticker. Love it. And then I'm going to do a little something here in the corner, which I think I'm actually going to put it in the top corner. Just a nice little moon with some flowers. Very nice. My finished ones are going up top. Okay. Now it's quiet time, Libby. My throat is starting to hurt again. can see that it says happy in her heart, but my camera does not wish to focus on it. There you go. Put that down here. I wonder how the scallop edge would look. Missing something in here. I put that little brush. Some of these are absolutely gorgeous. Do I have butterflies? We don't need another butterfly. I want one more thing for this one. And I think it's going to end up being another moon. So I'm not going to find that in that book. No, we do have a moon. It's in ink though. And I'm going to put the words for this one down underneath them. Just need a nice simple moon. She says nice and simple, and then she goes for a big one. That's fine. Okay. She was free to follow her heart. I'm not going to cut this one up because I think it's going to look very nice just beneath here, and I'm actually going to make sure that that Virgo, you can see, stays. I already put one sticker on the back here. I need one more. I'm not going to put it straight on there. I'm going to put it sideways so that my moon is the right way. It's a moon with some flowers. Okay. That might be too small, but oh, it's right on the other side of me. I'm going to go medium with this one. Okay, I really like that. So I'm going to show you the ones we've done today. And then I'm going to call it for now. I do have 4 more to do, but I can do these in my own time. I might turn this one into a pocket because these are both really off the page, so it doesn't matter to me if it's sideways. And then the rest will journaling cards and maybe a smaller tag. In fact, let me quickly do the corners on this so I remember that that's what the plan was. I'll probably make the corners taller than that, or bigger, but that way I just remember. And do I have a round punch on hand? Yep. So I will turn this guy into a pocket. I'm just using a round punch, just putting it a little bit in. Try and make it in the center, and then whoop, pocket. That way when you put something in, you can see, and it's easier to pull things out. Okay, and then those will just be 2 little cards. Alright, so let me show you what I've done today. So this, where is it? This is the one that I started out having done. I really like the height on that one. Nice and simple on the back. I'm gonna do some of these, the remaining ones with the walnut stain, just so it matches this, so this isn't the only one that has that. Then we have She Was Free to Follow Her Heart, which is a lady knighting a gentleman. We have the Beautiful Butterfly, and then back. We have Happy in Her Heart. That's a H for my mum's first name. A nice moon. I drew on some stars. And just added a couple of extra little bits, but this is the focal point, which is crystal with wings. I like that. It's got like the butterfly or moth on the inside, and then it's like it's breaking free. I like that. Again, just a couple of little stickers to frame that out. And this one I did scalloped edges. I might do one more with scalloped edges. I like that. Something different. This one might be my favourite. I think the washi tape with the glitter really helps. And I like that I tied in the browns that were in this butterfly. It says, "To find she was so perfectly alone." And that sums up my mum pretty well. She's very content pottering around. If only everybody could be so happy in their own presence. And then this says, "The maiden asked the moon to help her." Yeah. I like it. And we have this one. My issue with this is that the Virgo, which is what this is, a Virgo star sign image, does fade into the background. I think maybe if I'd have done her in black, it might stand out more. But honestly, because everything else is so built up around it, I think it does draw your eye into her anyway, because it's more like a frame, if that makes sense. This one says, "And night is pierced with stars." And then just, a nice little moon. I left that there, why not? A little star. And this was the first one. I love this one too. The stars before him. It's a little bat. And then the topper that we made by cording some embroidery floss. Really easy to do once you know what you're doing. You just gotta make sure that your hands can work it, which most of the time mine can't. Yep. So that's what we did today. I will finish those other ones off camera and show you next video. Next video should be putting together the signatures for my mum's journal. Should be, hopefully. Yeah, so that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely evening.